Have you ever noticed that life never asks for your permission before testing you? One phone call can change your entire day. One unexpected problem can shake your confidence. One difficult moment can make your heart race, your thoughts spiral, and your emotions feel impossible to control. And in those moments, it feels like the pressure is winning. But here is something powerful to remember. Calm is not the absence of pressure, it is the mastery of yourself within it. The people we admire the most are not those who never face pressure. They are the ones who remain steady when everyone else is falling apart. They are the ones who can think clearly when chaos surrounds them. They are the ones who keep moving forward when fear is screaming at them to stop. And the truth is, they were not born that way. They learned it. Imagine a young man named Daniel. He wasn't famous. He wasn't wealthy. He wasn't gifted with extraordinary talent. He was just an ordinary person trying to build a better life. One day, after years of preparation, he was given the opportunity of a lifetime. He was about to present his work in front of important executives who could completely change his future. Everything seemed perfect until the morning of the presentation. His computer crashed. The files he needed disappeared. The clock kept moving. His hands started shaking. His heart felt like it was pounding through his chest. In a matter of minutes, panic took control. Every negative thought rushed into his mind at once. What if I fail? What if everyone laughs at me? What if this opportunity disappears forever? The pressure became so intense that he could barely breathe. Then something happened. Instead of continuing to panic, Daniel walked to a quiet corner and sat down. He closed his eyes for a moment. He took a deep breath, then another and another. He remembered something his grandfather used to tell him. When the storm arrives, do not become the storm. Those words changed everything. The problem hadn't disappeared. The deadline hadn't changed. The pressure was still there. But Daniel stopped fighting the moment and started controlling himself. He focused on what he could do instead of what he could not. He rebuilt part of his presentation. He simplified what was missing. He walked into that room with calm determination, and although it wasn't perfect, it was enough. Years later, when people asked him about that day, he never talked about the technical failure. He talked about the lesson. Because he discovered something most people never understand. Pressure does not reveal your circumstances. Pressure reveals your habits. As the ancient philosopher said, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. That lesson matters because every person listening right now is facing pressure of some kind. Maybe it is financial pressure. Maybe it is family pressure. Maybe it is the pressure of expectations. Maybe it is the pressure of trying to become someone greater than you are today. And sometimes that pressure feels overwhelming. The mind begins creating disasters that have not even happened yet. You imagine failure before taking action. You imagine rejection before speaking. You imagine defeat before the battle even begins. But remember this powerful truth. Fear does not stop death. It stops life. Most people lose their calm not because the situation is impossible, but because they are fighting battles inside their own minds. Think about it. How many times have you worried about something for days only to discover that it wasn't nearly as bad as you imagined? How many nights have you lost sleep over problems that eventually solved themselves? How many opportunities have been missed because fear convinced you to stay comfortable? Pressure has a way of creating illusions. It whispers that everything is falling apart. It convinces you that disaster is near. It magnifies every challenge until it looks impossible. But pressure is often a poor storyteller. The reality is usually much smaller than the fear. As one powerful saying reminds us, courage is not the absence of fear. It is action in the presence of fear. The strongest people understand this. They do not wait for fear to disappear. They do not wait for perfect circumstances. They move forward anyway. And that is what separates those who grow from those who remain stuck. Life has a strange way of testing us when we least expect it. The student feels pressure before the exam. The athlete feels pressure before the competition. The entrepreneur feels pressure before the launch. The parent feels pressure while carrying responsibilities no one else sees. The dreamer feels pressure when standing on the edge of possibility. Pressure is not proof that something is wrong. Sometimes pressure is proof that something important is happening. A diamond forms under pressure. Steel is strengthened by fire. And character is forged through adversity. Hardships often prepare ordinary people for extraordinary destinies. Think about that for a moment. What if the pressure you are facing right now is not your enemy? What if it is preparing you? What if this difficult season is building a version of you that could never exist without the challenge? The truth is that calm people see pressure differently. Where others see danger, they see opportunity. Where others see chaos, they see a chance to grow. Where others see the end, they see the beginning. That mindset changes everything. Because staying calm is not about pretending that life is easy. It is about trusting yourself enough to handle what comes next. It is about believing that you are stronger than the circumstances around you. It is about understanding that panic never improves performance. Clarity does. Focus does. Discipline does. The next time life puts you under pressure, remember this. A calm mind can hear the solution that a panicked mind cannot. Those words are not just motivation. They are a strategy for life. When emotions rise, intelligence often falls. When panic takes over, judgment becomes clouded. When fear dominates, opportunities become invisible. That is why learning to stay calm is one of the greatest skills a person can develop. Because pressure is unavoidable. Challenges are inevitable. Difficult moments are guaranteed. But losing control of yourself does not have to be. The people who win in life are often the people who remain steady when everyone else becomes emotional. They become the eye of the storm. They become the voice of reason. They become the source of strength. And the beautiful part is that this ability can be learned by anyone willing to practice it. The journey toward calmness begins with a simple realization. The situation does not control your response. You do. And once you truly understand that, everything starts to change. Because the moment you stop allowing pressure to control your mind is the moment you begin taking control of your life. One of the biggest mistakes people make under pressure is believing that they need to control everything. They want certainty. They want guarantees. They want every detail of the future to unfold exactly as planned. But life has never worked that way. No matter how intelligent you are, no matter how prepared you become, there will always be variables you cannot control. There will always be surprises. There will always be moments when things do not go according to plan. The sooner you accept that reality, the more peaceful your mind becomes. As a wise saying reminds us, the oak fought the wind and was broken. The willow bent when it must and survived. Many people suffer not because of the pressure itself, but because they resist reality. They keep asking, why is this happening to me? They keep wishing the situation were different. They keep fighting what already exists. And that internal battle drains their energy. But calm people do something different. They acknowledge reality without surrendering to it. They say, this is where I am. Now what can I do? That simple shift changes everything. Because energy spent complaining cannot be used for solving. Energy spent worrying cannot be used for growing. Energy spent resisting cannot be used for moving forward. The moment acceptance begins, clarity follows. And clarity is one of the most powerful weapons against pressure. Think about a pilot flying through turbulence. The pilot does not panic every time the aircraft shakes. The pilot does not abandon the controls. The pilot trusts the training. The pilot trusts the process. The pilot focuses on what matters. Discipline is remembering what you want. That quote becomes incredibly powerful during stressful moments because pressure often tries to distract you from your purpose. When challenges appear, your attention shifts toward fear. Your focus shifts toward problems. Your mind starts imagining worst-case scenarios. But successful people train themselves to return their attention to the mission, not the fear, not the uncertainty, the mission. A calm mind is not a mind without thoughts. It is a mind that knows which thoughts deserve attention. That skill alone can transform an entire life. Imagine carrying a glass of water. At first it feels light. Hold it for a minute and it is manageable. Hold it for an hour and your arm begins to ache. Hold it all day and the pain becomes unbearable. The weight never changed. What changed was how long you carried it. Pressure often works the same way. Many people carry yesterday's problems into today. They carry last month's mistakes into this month. They carry old disappointments, old failures, old regrets. And eventually the emotional weight becomes overwhelming. As one powerful quote says, you cannot start the next chapter of your life if you keep rereading the last one. Calmness requires letting go, not because the past did not matter, but because your future matters more. There is another truth that most people discover too late. Pressure reveals where your confidence truly comes from. If your confidence depends entirely on success, pressure will destroy it. If your confidence depends entirely on approval, pressure will shake it. If your confidence depends entirely on circumstances, pressure will constantly control you. But if your confidence comes from your character, everything changes. Because character remains even when results disappear. Character remains even when things go wrong. Character remains even when nobody is watching. The strongest person is not the one who never falls, but the one who rises every time they fall. That is real confidence, knowing that even if things go badly, you will find a way forward. Knowing that even if you fail, you will learn. Knowing that even if the world says no today, tomorrow is another opportunity. Pressure loses much of its power when you stop seeing mistakes as permanent. Every great achievement has a history of setbacks hidden behind it. Every successful person has experienced moments of doubt. Every champion has suffered defeat. Every leader has faced criticism. Every dream worth pursuing comes with obstacles. The difference is that extraordinary people do not interpret pressure as a signal to quit. They interpret it as part of the journey. And that perspective creates resilience. Resilience is not built during comfortable seasons. It is built when life becomes difficult. It is built when plans collapse. It is built when nobody believes in you. It is built when giving up seems easier than continuing. The greater the obstacle, the more glory in overcoming it. Those words have inspired generations because they contain a profound truth. The challenges that test you most often teach you the most. The moments that hurt the most often shape you the most. The seasons that stretch you the most often strengthen you the most. When you begin to see pressure as a teacher rather than an enemy, your entire relationship with adversity changes. Instead of asking, why is this happening? You start asking, what is this teaching me? Instead of feeling defeated, you become curious. Instead of feeling trapped, you begin searching for growth. And growth always changes the story. There is also something important that many people overlook. Your physical state affects your mental state. When people are exhausted, stress feels heavier. When people are unhealthy, challenges feel larger. When people neglect themselves, pressure feels more intense. The mind and body are connected in powerful ways. That is why calmness is not only mental, it is also physical. Sometimes the most courageous thing you can do is rest. Sometimes the most productive thing you can do is recover. Sometimes the strongest decision you can make is to step away long enough to regain perspective. As the old saying goes, rest is not idleness, it is preparation. A tired mind sees obstacles everywhere. A refreshed mind sees possibilities. A tired mind magnifies fear. A refreshed mind creates solutions. This does not mean avoiding responsibility. It means protecting the tool that handles responsibility. Your mind. Because when pressure arrives, your greatest asset is not your money. It is not your status. It is not your possessions. It is your ability to think clearly. And clear thinking requires emotional control. There will be moments in your life when everything seems uncertain. Moments when answers are difficult to find. Moments when the path ahead disappears into darkness. In those moments, remember something powerful. You do not need to see the entire staircase to take the next step. You only need enough courage to keep moving. The future has always belonged to those who continue despite uncertainty. Those who continue despite fear. Those who continue despite pressure. Those who continue despite doubt. Because progress is rarely dramatic. It is usually built through small acts of courage repeated over and over again. A calm breath. A wise decision. A disciplined action. A refusal to panic. A determination to keep going. And eventually those small moments become a powerful life. Pressure may test you. It may challenge you. It may push you further than you expected. But it does not have to control you. Because within every human being is a strength far greater than most people realize. A strength that awakens when circumstances become difficult. A strength that emerges when comfort disappears. A strength that reveals itself when the world expects you to break. And when that strength finally rises, pressure begins losing its grip. There comes a moment in every person's life when they realize that the battle was never really against the world, it was against themselves. Against the fear that whispered they were not good enough, against the doubt that told them they could not continue, against the panic that convinced them they were powerless. And when they finally overcome those internal battles, something extraordinary happens. The pressure outside remains the same, but the person inside becomes stronger. The mind is everything. What you think, you become. That truth has echoed through generations because it reveals one of life's greatest secrets. The circumstances around you do not always determine your future. Your response to those circumstances does. Two people can face the same storm and emerge completely different. One becomes bitter, the other becomes wiser. One becomes afraid, the other becomes stronger. One gives up, the other discovers what they are truly capable of. The difference is not the pressure, the difference is the mindset. Think about the greatest moments in your life. The moments when you achieved something meaningful. The moments when you overcame a challenge that once seemed impossible. The moments when you proved something to yourself. None of those moments happened because life was easy. They happened because you refused to quit when life became difficult. Strength does not come from what you can do. It comes from overcoming the things you once thought you could not. Every challenge you have survived has left evidence behind. Evidence that you are stronger than you think. Evidence that you are more resilient than you realize. Evidence that you have already overcome obstacles that once felt overwhelming. Sometimes we forget our own victories. We remember our failures. We remember our disappointments. We remember the times things went wrong. But we forget the countless moments when we stood back up. The countless moments when we adapted. The countless moments when we found a way forward. Those moments matter because they are proof. Proof that pressure has visited your life before and you survived. Proof that fear has spoken to you before and you continued anyway. As one inspiring quote reminds us, do not pray for an easy life, pray for the strength to endure a difficult one. That strength already exists within you. It may be hidden beneath stress. It may be buried beneath disappointment. It may be waiting beneath layers of self-doubt, but it is there. And every challenge you face gives you an opportunity to discover it. The truth is that calmness is not something you suddenly achieve one day. It is something you practice. Every difficult conversation is practice. Every setback is practice. Every unexpected obstacle is practice. Every stressful moment is practice. Life itself becomes the training ground. And each time you choose patience over panic, you become stronger. Each time you choose faith over fear, you become stronger. Each time you choose action over hesitation, you become stronger. Each time you choose calm over chaos, you become stronger. The transformation happens slowly, almost invisibly, day after day, decision after decision, moment after moment, until one day you face a challenge that would have shattered the old version of you, and instead of breaking, you remain steady. Instead of panicking, you remain focused. Instead of running away, you move forward. That is growth. That is maturity. That is power. Character is not built in comfort. Character is revealed in adversity. The world often celebrates talent. It celebrates intelligence. It celebrates success. But behind every lasting success is emotional control. Behind every great leader is composure. Behind every champion is discipline. Behind every extraordinary achievement is someone who learned how to stay calm when it mattered most. Because pressure creates two options. It can either break you, or it can introduce you to a stronger version of yourself. The choice begins with your response. Imagine standing in the middle of a storm. The wind is strong, the rain is relentless, the darkness seems endless. Most people focus on the storm, but the wisest people focus on their footing. They focus on staying grounded, they focus on taking the next step, they focus on moving forward. One step, then another, then another. Eventually the storm passes, and it always passes. No storm lasts forever. Those 4 words have carried countless people through their darkest seasons. No pressure lasts forever. No hardship lasts forever. No difficult chapter lasts forever. Everything changes. Everything moves. Everything evolves. The challenge is staying strong long enough to see the next sunrise. Many people quit during the final chapter of the struggle because they cannot yet see the breakthrough coming. They mistake a temporary situation for a permanent reality. They mistake a difficult season for a difficult life. But history is filled with people who succeeded simply because they stayed in the fight a little longer than fear wanted, a little longer than doubt expected, a little longer than circumstances suggested, and that persistence changed everything. Success is often just perseverance wearing a different name. As you move through your own journey, there will be moments when pressure tries to convince you that you are losing. Do not believe it too quickly. Some battles are won quietly. Some victories happen internally before they appear externally. Sometimes growth is happening even when results are not visible. Sometimes strength is developing even when progress feels slow. Sometimes your greatest breakthrough is occurring beneath the surface where nobody else can see it. Trust the process. Trust the lessons. Trust the growth. Most importantly, trust yourself. You have survived every difficult day that brought you here. You have overcome every challenge that once seemed impossible. You have endured every storm that tried to stop you. That is not weakness. That is evidence of strength. And if you have done it before, you can do it again. So when pressure arrives tomorrow, next week, or next year, remember this moment. Remember that panic is a choice. Remember that calmness is a skill. Remember that courage is available even when fear is present. Remember that your greatest power is not controlling every situation. Your greatest power is controlling yourself within the situation. Stand tall when others panic. Stay focused when others lose direction. Stay patient when others rush. Stay determined when others quit. And keep moving forward with quiet confidence. Because the strongest people are not those who never face pressure. The strongest people are those who learn how to remain calm while walking straight through it. Peace is not found in a life without storms. It is found in the heart that has learned how to weather them. So breathe deeply. Trust yourself. Face the challenge. Embrace the pressure. And remember that within you is a strength far greater than any obstacle standing in your way. Your story is not ending in the storm. Your story is being forged by it. And one day, when you look back on the battles that once frightened you, you will realize something incredible. The pressure did not destroy you. It built you. And that is where true strength begins.